I'm Reid Shippen. I'm a producer, engineer, mixer in Nashville, Tennessee. Today, the thing that we're doing is this really cool track by Ashley Monroe. Gina did an amazing job with the song. I don't know what she did wrangling the musicians around, but what ended up coming across my desk was this super cool, vibey song. The bulk of the drums were this tape delay feel and then like a drum loop that she had layered over top of it and a ton of really cool keyboards. Just one electric guitar, no acoustic guitar, a slide and a B3 and like just this fantastically cool atmospheric arrangement. When I'm mixing, somebody will send me the multi-tracks. My engineer, Brandon, will pull that stuff into a session, make sure everything is there, nothing's missing, clean up some stuff, organize it the way we like it, put in some sample triggers, just stuff that we might need as we're going along. The idea is that I can walk in and hit play and just like mix and not worry about any of the technical stuff. One of the challenges when you're mixing is making sure all the phase relationships between all the drums and samples and everything lines up, so when the kick drum hits it, it like really feels good. My greatest challenge and my greatest privilege is finding a way to make the song just like feel great, like it gets your interest and it draws you in, and when the chorus hits, it just feels awesome. That's what I aim for in mixing. I think that's kind of like the whole point. For this particular song, I mixed it with a Red 16 line and the R1 remote. The Red 16 line is something that I can hook up to an HDX rig and then take my laptop and take it with me and record something and mix something, and it's incredibly flexible. So I'm kind of blown away at the functionality of the Focusrite stuff, and it sounds good. And it has incredible headroom. There's a lot of interfaces out there that it's not that I have bad conversion, it's just that the analog can't handle the headroom. So things get clipped and things get weird, and the Focusrite can take anything I throw at it, which is great. I love routing stuff with Dante. I used to have a setup where it was HDX over here and then a MADI conversion over here and this clock thing over here, and trying to integrate all that and then integrating even some Thunderbolt interfaces and stuff like that, and it was a nightmare. Dante, one cable, done, amazing.
Damn you, Robin, I wish I too could fly.
Vocal is the most important part of the song, right? So, as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff that got snuck in here. And this is the little trick with a tiny bit of mix, smash the vocal and bring in a little tiny bit of that so you're barely hearing it, adding a little bit of top and taking a little bit of mid-range out, taking some low end out of the vocal that you don't need. The Red 3 comp again on both of these is just adding some presence, adding some warmth. And then the Red 2 EQ also is just adding some low end just to make her feel full. The Red 3 plugin gives me this thickness, like this glue, the same sound that I always used to rely on the old Red 3. I still have it actually in my rack. It gives like a nice low mid bottom glue to it. So the Red 3 compressor ends up on a lot of the drum tracks. I did a trick on these background vocals on this LX480, throwing them way out into space. It's a 23-second plate just to give it this really crazy long ambience. Same thing at the outro. It's just this big long ambience that just keeps going. It's super cool. It's easier to get all the decisions made, get the artist happy, and everything in stereo. And then when all of that is done, I'll take it and I will turn it into an Atmos mix. Switching from stereo to Atmos, we found that the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and create a stem set. A lot of times I'm gonna have to turn in a stem set anyway. So we'll make that, and because most of the mix decisions or all of my mix decisions are baked into that, then it's really easy for me to decide what needs to go where, and I can create stems knowing what I'm going to place and what I'm going to move around and what I'm not. Atmos is an evolving
field in music. Anything that's disruptive, anything that's on a cutting edge or a change in the industry is going to necessarily be difficult, and there's going to be a lot of challenges. The trick is having gear that works and is flexible enough to let you figure out what you're doing and try new things, and then you just work through it. We've all been mixing in stereo for a long time. There's a lot of tricks and techniques that you use to cram 100 tracks through 2 speakers. It's a lot easier when you have 13 speakers. It's a much larger palette to paint in, and you don't have to crush stuff dynamically, and you don't have to force things on top of each other. You can move it and place it in what feels like 3D space. We've all experienced music in a space. When we go to a concert or you just sit in a room with people playing guitar, it's actually unnatural to just have 2 speakers playing music or 2 speakers strapped to the sides of your head. We're just all used to it. So when I'm mixing, I'm trying to move stuff around that doesn't distract, but it just makes it feel like you're in it instead of looking at it. Mastering's always been a really important part of this process. It's the final set of ears that I trust before it goes out into the world. Pete Lyman is the chief mastering engineer at Infrasonic Sound, a collection of badass mastering engineers both here and in LA. Mastering is 10 times more important for immersive mixing because there's a lot of different specs that we have to meet. There's a lot of different things that come out of an Atmos mix. There's a 7/1/4 fold down, a 5/1 fold down, there's binaural. All of those have to be checked. They have to be quality controlled. We got to make sure that multiple things going out, they're all correct. It's always a better product when you can kind of get egos out of the way and just be like, here's a bunch of professionals who are here to make sure this thing is the best possible expression of what the artist wants. Can that always happen? No. It's always a crapshoot, but the most fun records that I work on are the ones where everybody's working together for a common goal and just trying to make something great.